Hi fashion lovers, you're welcome to another interesting video. In today's tutorial, we are going to be learning how to make this beautiful drawstring bubu gown with a front slit and inner waist belt, just like what you are seeing on the screen. It is very easy and simple to make. If you're interested, watch to the end. Let's get started. To get started, I have 2.5 yards or 2.5 yards of silk satin fabric. You can make use of Duchess, crepe, Mikado fabric or silk satin fabric, just like what I'm using. So I used 2.5 yards. So but it was short. So if you want to make yours longer to get to the floor length, you can use 3 inches or 3.5 inches. So I went ahead to fold it into two with the width now. So this is the length by 60 inches. And I folded it on the width by 2, and I went ahead to fold it the second time, making it a 4-fold. So when I finished folding it, the length was 60 inches, which is going to be enough for my length, for the length I'm working with. But the upper part here is open and the width is not up to the length of the sleeve I wanted. And the bubu gown we are working with, the upper part was supposed to be folded. The shoulder was not cut out. There was no shoulder slope. So I didn't want to cut off the shoulder and start joining it. And the width of this fabric is around 22 inches. But I want to make use of 25 inches for my sleeve. But the length was up to 60 inches. But the width was not enough for what I wanted, and I didn't want to join the shoulders. I want the shoulder part to be folded. Did you see that? So and because of that, I won't fold the fabric like this. So I have to readjust it again. Did you see that? So I went ahead to open it up. So I closed it in two. So what I'm going to do is I will grab the folded edge. Did you see the part that is folded, and fold it again into two? Please take note that I'm making use of 2.5 yards. So by the time I folded it like this, the width was long enough for what I wanted, but the length now was shortened. The length was around 45 inches. The length was around 45 inches. So I went ahead to pin it down because this is a silk satin fabric. So you need to pin it down to hold everything together. So if you want your own length to be longer, you can use 3 yards. If you use 3 yards, you have length 54. But if you use 3.5 yards, you will have up to 60 inches length. So I use 2.5 yards and my length was 45. It was not a long length, but I have to make do with what I have. So now I've folded. So from this part now, I'm going to measure my neckline. The neckline we are going to be using is 3 inches by 2 inches, and that neckline applies to both the front and the back. If you check the design we are working with, it has a very high neck collar. So the neck was not a wide neck. So that is why I used 3 inches by 2 inches. But the head will not be able to enter the neck. So I went ahead to let her slit the back open. So at this point, I'm taking my length of the sleeve that I want, 25 inches. So from the folded edge, I marked 25 inches. You can decide to use the entire fabric as the length of your bubu, depending on the kind of person you are making this bubu for. The person I'm making this bubu for is a medium-sized person with bust 42. So after marking the length of my sleeve, I'm going to mark the sleeve opening. So you're going to use like 9 inches plus 1 inch for the sewing allowance, which is 10. So I marked 10, and after marking 10, I went inward by 1.5 inches. Did you see? From the sleeve opening, you go inward by 1.5 inches and mark the line straight down. You're going to mark it straight down. Did you see what I did? Let me bring it close. After marking my zipper opening, I went inward by 1.5 inches and mark it straight down. Depending on how you want it, if you want your bubu not to be too big, you can come inward by 5 inches and mark it straight down. If you want it not to be that big, depending on your measurement. So after that, I made a small curve around that point, like an armhole. Did you see what I have? So the next thing is to get where our inner belt is going to be and where our drawstring and the slit is going to be. So you want to grab your tape, and from the up here you measure shoulder to your waistline. The person's waistline is 15, so I will mark 15, and then I will measure half, 1/4 of the person's waist measurement, 1/4 of the person's waist measurement, and from that point I will mark like a straight line, like 1 inch down. That place is going to be the place I'm going to attach my inner belt. So I came down by 15 inches, which is the person shoulder to the waist measurement, and then I measured half, 1/4 of the person's waist circumference, and from that point I marked 1 inch, which is going to 1 inch down, which is going to be where the belt is going to stay. So you want to do it for the other side. You flip your fabric the other side, measure shoulder to the waist 15, and measure 1/4 of the person's waist circumference, and from that point you come down by 1 inch and mark a straight line, which is going to be where the belt is going to be. You're going to do it for the two other sides and make sure it matches. So the next thing is from the shoulder, I will mark 17 inches. That is 2 inches below the person's waist. I will mark 17 inches. And from that point, I will mark half of the person's nipple to nipple measurement. That is the dot line. And from that 17 inches, I will begin to mark half, which is 4 inches. That is 8 inches divided by 4 is 4 inches. 8 inches divided by 2 is 4 inches. So I'm going to be marking it down to the end of the fabric. So you're going to mark 17 inches. That is 2 inches below your actual waist. And then from that point, you mark half of your nipple to nipple measurement till you get to the down part. And from that point, I measured 10 inches downward. Did you see? I measured 10 inches downward, and that point is going to be where the drawstring casing is going to be, and the other part is going to be the slit. I hope you understood. So I came down by 10 inches. That 10 inches is going to be where the drawstring casing is going to be, and the other part is now going to be the slit. So you want to go ahead and cut the neckline, and then go ahead and cut the other part as well, the sleeve opening and the side, till you get to the down part. So at this point I was done cutting. Did you see that? So the next thing is to remove your pins, and then remove one part, which is going to be the back. You're going to be removing it, like just remove it out so that you'll be able to cut out your front slit open. So as you can see, I've removed it. I've removed the part that is the back. So I'm going to be raising one part of the fabric up. Did you see? And then I'm going to cut through to like get to that drawstring casing. You know, I came down by 10 inches, which is going to be my drawstring casing. So I'm going to slit other parts open, which is going to be my slit. I hope you understood this very clearly. So when you open it up, this is what you are going to have. So this is what we have, the slit. Did you see? So you're going to be using like a bias tape to finish up the slit. Did you see? You're going to use your bias tape to finish up the slit. And the next thing is to work on the neckline, the back neckline. Like you want to open this up, like you want to separate the neckline of the front from the neckline of the back. you want to separate the neckline of the front from the neckline of the back. Then you want to go ahead and arrange this very well. So when you are done arranging, you can come down by 5 to 6 inches on the back neckline. Come down by 5 to 6 inches. So this opening is going to enable you to be able to wear this bubu. So you want to go ahead and slit the neckline open just to where you see me doing. So with this now, the neckline is wide enough. Did you see that? The neckline is wide enough to wear it. So it's at the back that you're going to be cutting that open. You can use 5 to 6 inches. So the next thing is that I cut out a piece of fabric. I wanted to show you how to finish up that slit neckline. So I'm going to grab like a piece of fabric that is straight, like a straight cut, and then I'm going to place it right side of the fabric, face the right side of the neckline. Did you see? I'm trying to arrange it, and then you want to make a V, like you pin it down first. This is a silk fabric, so you need to work with your pins a lot. So after you are done pinning it down, you want to like measure half inch and draw like a V. Did you see what I'm doing? I'm trying to draw a V, and that V shape you draw, you want to go and sew it. Did you see? Like that, with the facing attached to it. Did you see? You want to sew it. So with this method, you'll be able to properly, sew the slit out. You'll be able to properly sew the slit. So this is how I work with slit whenever I'm going to, close it up. For this part also, I'm also going to still do the same. You can use your bias tape if that works for you, but for me, I prefer this method. So I've grabbed another pieces and I'm facing it right side of the pieces, facing the right side of the fabric, and I'm going to grab the slit like this. Did you see? And use my pin and hold it, and then make a V shape like this to sew on it, on that facing that I attached. So by doing it like this, is going to enable me to sew and have a neat and well arranged slit. So I'm done sewing. Did you see? I sewed, I made a V around that point. So when you turn it to the right side, this is what we're going to be having. So you want to go ahead and cut it open to the end. Did you see? Cut it open to the end, but let it not touch the thread. So you also want to notch around this point. So after notching, you want to go ahead and cut off the other pieces, excess pieces that you have. Then you want to now flip this to the wrong side now. To the wrong side, try to notch it well so that you'll be able to flip it. You want to go ahead and flip it to the wrong side. You can either fold it and stitch on it, or you use your hemming gun to hold it well. So at this point, I needed to notch the edge of that slit well, so that the fabric will be able to, go inside towards the wrong side. Did you see? So you want to fold it in like this. Use your iron it out. You can use a hemming gun to hold it, but I prefer to fold the slit, to fold the bias inside and sew on it. Did you see? So with this, it's going to give you a neat finishing for the slit. So you want to go ahead and fold it like this. Did you see? You want to go ahead and fold it and stitch on it. So this is the neckline part as well. So you also, on the wrong side, turn it and, cut it open. This is the slit for the neckline. Notch it very well so it will be able to relax, and then flip it to the wrong, flip the fabric to the wrong side, and this is what you are going to have. You want to go ahead and iron it out. You can either use hemming gun, or you fold it in. For me, I'm going to be folding it in to stitch on it. Did you see? So by the time you turn it to the other side, you can see if you iron it out, you're going to have a neat finishing for your slit. So this is how I finish up my slit. So when you are done folding that part, you can use a bias tape and complete the rest of the neckline. You can use a bias tape and complete the rest of the neckline. So the next thing you want to do is to fold the sleeve, the hem part of the sleeve or the sleeve opening. You want to fold it by half an inch and fold it into two. You also want to do the same for the other side of the sleeve. So as you can see, I'm done with the sleeve. Did you see? I'm done with the neckline opening. I've folded in the slit and I've also folded in the other parts of the neckline. I've used my bias tape to close up the neckline. So you can go ahead and attach like a button, one button loop around. Did you see? Just one button, and this is what you're going to have. So the next thing is the slit opening. You can see I'm done with the slit. So I folded the bias in, or the pieces of fabric I used, I folded it in. So I need to just give it a thorough ironing. So the next thing you want to do is to grab a piece of fabric that is 12 inches in length and 3 inches in width. You can see I ironed the middle part. Did you see? It's 12 inches in length and 3 inches in width, and you want to fold it 2 times on the one part and place it on the slit here. So we're going to be using it as the drawstring casing. Note that we left 10 inches for the drawstring. So, and the pieces of the fabric I have here is 12 inches. I'm going to be folding 2 inches in. So I folded one part here and I'm going to pin it down. Did you see? From the slit, and I'm going to fold another part here on the other side and I'm going to pin it down, making it 10 inches. So the length now is 10 inches. After folding is 10 inches and the width is 3 inches. And I iron the fabric to get the crease line or the middle point. So you want to go ahead and sew on the middle of that pieces and then fold the side by half an inch and sew, and also fold the other side by half an inch and sew. So that is how to get your drawstring casing. You place the fabric, go ahead and sew on the crease line or on the middle point, fold one side of it by half an inch and sew, and fold the other side by half an inch and sew. So that is what you are going to be doing. So the next thing is the drawstring rope. The rope we're going to be making use of as the drawstring. So I have the rope as 40 inches and the width is 1.5 inches. The rope is 40 inches and the width is 1.5 inches. So you want to fold it like this, the two edges like this, and fold it further again and then stitch on it. Fold like this, fold the other side, fold the last time and stitch on it. That is going to be serving as your rope for the drawstring. And I have another fabric which is my belt, and I have it as 3 inches by 35 inches for the two pieces. Now I have it as 3 inches by 35 inches for the two fabric. So you want to fold and go ahead and stitch your belt. You fold it in like this and then make a curve and stitch your belt just the way you normally stitch your belt, and then you leave one side open. You leave this side open. Let's assume that you are done with the belt. You want to open the fabric, the part where you marked for the belt, and then you want to place it there and stitch on it. That is from the wrong side now. On the front part, the part you marked as the belt or the belt open, the part you mark for the belt to be added. So you want to go there and sew on that part, and also grab the other belt and sew on the other part. That is for your inner belt. So when you are done, you can see I'm done sewing the drawstring casing. Did you see that? So this is what I have after I was done. So I'm going to grab the rope for the drawstring, and with my safety pin, I'm going to grab one end of the rope with my safety pin, and I'm going to be adding it on the casing. I'm going to be passing it through the casing like this. So grab one end of the rope and pass it through the casing one end of the casing like this. So when you are done, you grab the other end of the rope, and with the aid of your safety pin, you want to pass the rope on the other side of the casing, because the casing has two openings. So this one end of your rope, you are going to be passing it through the other casing, through the other opening of the casing. So when I was done, this is what I have. Did you see? So I've successfully passed the rope inside the casing. Then you can draw it to get your drawstring effect. Did you see? You can draw it to get your drawstring effect. Did you see what we have after we are done? You can go ahead and tie it. So I want to show you the belt. I've successfully attached the belt on the waistline. Did you see that? I've also sewn the sleeve opening. Did you see? So the next thing is to sew the side seam. Did you see? You're going to arrange your fabric well. Make sure it's aligned and is equal. You want to go ahead and sew the side seam. So go ahead and sew the side seam by half an inch. Did you see, till you get to the sleeve? Also do the same on the other side. Arrange the sleeve. Use your pin, especially if you're working with a silk fabric, and then go ahead and stitch by 1 inch on the side. And when you are done, you want to come to the down part and fold into two like this and sew the down part. You want to also hem the down part. So when I was done, this is what I have, and this is the final result. Isn't this beautiful? And I believe you enjoyed this tutorial and you find it very helpful. Kindly like this video and share as well. Thank you for watching, and see you in my next tutorial. Thank you and bye.